Time. Okay.
What time is it?
I don't
Okay.
know. We're recording.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, we're recording.
Okay.
I just clicked it.
Is this the blooper reel?
Yeah, for real. So anyways, I thought the show went really good, but you had touched on some stuff that I was like, oh my God, I have to talk about that. And the funny thing is I already forgot it because I had to say goodbye to my son. So,
Okay.
what the end stuff?
I started talking about not engaging, and I kind of was talking to the moms about when they get triggered and their child triggers them, and for example, if you have a teen that's in a negative state and kind of pissed off, and so they're charged up, and then you come at them and without having tools and without having a plan of action, you can engage too. So then you have like this muddled ball of energy, and you're not going to get anywhere. So I always say disengage, do not engage, and then that triggered you on something.
Oh yeah, because I think that was the key, the disengage part. There's twofold parts. One is, this is a little bit off the subject. Go figure. But my daughter just had the twins, and they were all worried, like, what if they turn out to be like this or completely unruly, and I'm like, they take on the energy of the parents. And they're like, yeah, and I'm like, no. Kids and animals take on the energy of the parents. And I call the animals owners parents. But they always, I constantly, I'm showing that to people, and it's funny how many people don't realize it. And I'm like, look at so-and-so's child, or so-and-so's pet. Do they not reflect the energy of the parents? And that's when it comes to that top 5 people who you surround yourself by. That is a real thing. You reflect the energy of who you surround yourself by. It's like a mirror. And where you can have choices to change that if you're in not a really good situation or something, that takes effort. But so naturally you're reflecting. So anyways, my kids are always really aware of that now, and they're always like, yep, that dog is just like the mom. Yep, oh yeah, that kid, yep, they're just like the mom or the dad. Like, they're constantly comparing. So you have to excuse me, I have a cough drop. When we do these shows, I feel like I'm doing vocal exercises, because every time I get like itchy throat, I gotta have like water and lozenges.
Yeah.
So anyways, that was one of the things that I thought was a really good point. But also the disengaging, that's a huge, huge tip. You don't need to, how did you explain that? You don't need to engage in negativity. I get lots of texts sometimes from people who are going, oh yeah, this made me upset, or that made me upset, and a lot of times it's like, well, why? Because that doesn't really involve you. And yeah. I probably have people listening going, that was me, I was texting her. But no, I have this happen often. Like, I have people, they get upset about situations, and they'll say, more often than not, I'm surprised, because more often than not, I'm like, but that literally really doesn't involve you. Unless you involve yourself in it, that it should not have any effect on your life. It's easy to be, I get it, it's easy to be sucked in to drama and negativity.
Yeah.
But it's just as easy to just not react, which is I lie. It's not just as easy for some people. It's easy for me now. But that's something I've developed over the years, because I've learned, and I would like to hear your thoughts on what you do, but I've learned over the years personally that I am so busy. Probably more than most people, the amount of work I do and the amount of businesses I run, it's so time consuming. And so my priorities have to be very focused. It has to be work to get a certain amount, otherwise I will get nothing done. Like, I'm not going to be able to produce the content. I'm not going to be able to produce the classes. and my other businesses. And then it's family time. And so because my time is so precious to me, I'm very conscientious of who's in my space and what you're bringing into my space. Mm-hmm. And if it's not fun and uplifting and positive, or relating to something, helpful that I'm doing, or just fun family time, I'm very much like this. I really, truly am. And everybody who's in my life knows that, because my time is so precious. How are you with regards to this sort of thing? Because those of you who don't know Kale, she's ridiculously loving. Her heart is huge. And I think that's harder for people who are so like you, so loving. And,
It is. And like everything, I learned the hard way. That's my life. I learned everything the hard way because my heart goes before me. I do. I have a huge heart and I have a very sensitive heart. So as you say, I don't understand how people, it's none of their business, and how can they engage in someone else's negativity? It is a practice. It's a practice. You do it very, very well. You're very much aware of who you are. You constantly, you practice what you preach constantly. And so for me, it was a practice to learn to not engage, to learn how to disengage. And I think what the biggest teacher I had was my youngest daughter. We were very much alike, and we would butt heads. We have a beautiful relationship, and now she's much older. But when she was growing up, we butted heads constantly, and I didn't have tools. I didn't know, don't disengage. This is, don't take it personally. That's the key. Do not take it personally. Yes. I took everything personally. And there was even a time where, she would just flare up. And it was never about me. It was about what was going on in her life. I took it all personally. And at one point I was in tears going, but I gave birth to you. How can you treat me this way?
That is so funny.
Oh my God. And I just realized the absurdity of that moment, that I thought, what is wrong?
That's where that family thing comes in. But I created you. Like you
I created.
That's awesome.
And we laugh about that now. And it was my husband that said, do you think maybe you guys are kind of alike? And I thought, oh, hell no. I thought, oh my God, I think we are. We're both very loving, very, we can be a little dramatic, very animated. And I realized, oh my God, we are kind of alike. Yeah. So she was a beautiful teacher for me to learn how to disengage. Do not take things personally, and still be authentic and true, and come at it in a loving space.
Well, and for me, it wasn't just when I got busy. I actually had to learn at a young age how to not engage, but how to deal with negativity, because I was around a lot of it. And so, in high school, you're around a lot of it before social media even was a thing. You're around a lot of it just growing up. And then I just was around a lot of it with my mother was that way. And it's just, I had to learn, like you said, that it wasn't me. So I learned from a really young age that a lot of negativity that seems projected upon me, or like if they're coming at me, I learned from a young age exactly what you said. It was never usually me. It had to do with other circumstances. Thank God I had that gift, because I remember like when I was like little, 2, 3, 4 years old, I remember thinking when my mother was really, really verbally abusive. And so I remember thinking, something's not right. Something's not right with her. And I remember, because most kids, and I truly believe, because of my ability, I could see that. Because I think that most kids internalize it and then just go, well, yeah, oh my gosh, I must have done this. They don't love me. But I always knew it wasn't me and something wasn't right. Thank
Mm.
God. Thank God that
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
So I had developed this system before I got busy, and then time became precious. And don't get me, I'm human. I have fallen into where you get into the dramatic, and people have made me mad and still do on occasion. The key for me is I catch myself though. In fact, something happened recently where I was just like really kind of irritated for a few days. And then I realized, and it just hit me when I'm like, I don't have time. I really, really, truly don't have time to spend on this mentally. So I'm choosing to just let it go. And I just moved on from that very quickly once I realized how much of my mental energy it was consuming. And then also I could feel the drain. I could feel that feeling that we're trying to prevent people, where I just felt, not not strong in my energetic field. And I'm like, yeah, done. Okay, I'm over this. So yeah, that's a little bit different. And the social media thing, I want to make sure that we're getting you're clearing, but I I kind of like the good cop, bad cop thing, because I do a lot of my stuff on social media, but I have people post for me a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that I do that also sometimes is when you go to post, or when I go to log in, maybe I don't do it correctly, the news feed literally does pop up.
Yeah.
Right?
It's always there. It's always there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe I don't use it enough to know. And if I'm in a space where I'm really trying to get stuff done, and I want to be really focused, and I don't want to have any issues with negativity, or even if I can feel very stressed because I'm trying to get stuff done, I won't even log in, because even the milliseconds that I see the news feed, it does something to me. It shifts me for a half a second. And it's not always necessarily bad, but I will have an assistant or somebody even then take it over. So, but I know me, and I know my sensitivity. I'm hypersensitive. So I have to be so extraordinarily careful about any negativity. It's kind of a pain, really, truthfully, but I feel better, so I just do it. But there are some good things about it. I think that you do post some lovely things. I try to teach on my stuff, but the people, that's the whole key, is the people I want to talk with. I really do talk with. And, doing these shows and doing my classes made me realize that I really do a lot of the things I teach. I think a lot of people are like, does she really do all this stuff? Like,
You
yeah,
definitely practice what you preach.
yeah, I do, because managing these abilities, as you know, and as you're learning, it takes a lot of work. I don't think that you get to the heightened ability that we are at without there is some type of system and training and understanding. And if you can't just be this way and just go, I'll do whatever I want, I'm just gonna be
right. Or you could, but then you may be blocking yourself. But for you absolutely practice what you preach. And I know that you do take great care in protecting your own energy, and not really like a protection, honoring. You take great care in honoring your own energy, and that's huge. That's huge. And I do the same thing. And I really learned, and this is another thing I want to share with everyone. It's okay to say no. When you are asked to go somewhere, when you are invited somewhere, when, whatever, engage online, engage in person. If you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it. It's okay to say no. And when you do say no, you give that person permission to do the same. And that's self-care.
With empaths, they feel guilty.
Nope. I'm a
Yeah.
huge, big
No, but I
empath.
mean,
I don't feel guilty.
you've learned.
I've
I mean,
learned.
with empaths who are learning to manage their abilities, they feel very guilty. And
That's what I wanted to say. It's okay. You have
yes,
to say no.
but that's the thing about being an empath is learning how to manage all of these abilities. You have to learn how to manage the guilt. You have to learn to say no. You have to learn to be very aware of who you surround yourself with. You have to learn that it's not okay. Again, I know I talked about this on the show, but this really, really gets me. Is the relative thing, like that, or they've been a friend for 15 years thing.
Yeah.
And that it's okay that their behavior is like they are. I just, that to me is just, what? I don't, that's a pass. How's that a pass? Like, I really.
You know why I feel, speaking from experience again, because you don't, for a family, it's like you don't want to either hurt their feelings or there's like a fear of will they go away type thing. I mean, there's a lot in there, especially if you have family drama, childhood trauma, things like that. There are some things. So as empaths heal, awareness is so key with everything, and get tools. It's easier and easier to really feel your own inner strength and know that you do not have to put up with negativity from family members. You're right. There is no excuse whatsoever.
Well, and it's not that you have to confront them either. I'm not saying that necessarily. It's not that you have to do that, but you can learn to duck out of the conversation. You can
disengage.
Learn to disengage. You can learn to not react. You can learn to cut time. You can learn to change the subject. So it's not necessarily that you have to remove them entirely and just be like, oh, they're negative, I cannot deal. Because I don't think that that's a healthy response really either, because like I said, we're here to learn and grow, and negativity is a part of that.
Yeah.
So I think it's not necessarily always just be like, no, I can't deal. I've actually known people that were like that. And I was like, yeah, but then what happens with the next really negative? Like, are you just going to keep doing that? Like, it's not that, no, I can't deal. I cannot be around these people. That's not the key. The key is to, like you said, it's to disengage. It's to learn your own skill, to be able to just go, this doesn't involve me somehow. It's to learn to detach from their journey, which I think is really hard for people, especially if they have loved ones that are like maybe addicted to alcohol or drugs, or going down a path that is destructive. As an empath, you truly, truly need to be able to separate from their journey, because most of the times, if you can always be there to help with rehab or do any of those things, but you can't fix those people. You're not usually qualified anyways. They're looking to you for codependency, which is a struggle, but that's not helpful. And, you have to learn to emotionally detach from their journey and understand that until they're ready to get help, all it's doing is it's making two unhealthy people.
Right.
Because when you get wrapped into somebody's addiction or downward spiraling journey, it will create you to be also unhealthy and taking on that energy. And it literally will create two unhealthy people. And you are your own person that can manage. If you have kids, so now if you have two unhealthy people and then you have kids and a family around you, you are then rippling that, like you said, into your family. And so at some point you have to protect that. You have to protect your life and your family. And you have to make choices based on that, because they're making their choice. And this is going to sound really weird, but you almost have to respect their choice. Not respect it as in approve it. You don't have to be.
Journey.
You have to respect that they made the choice, and there's not a lot you can do about the choices that they're making.
Mm-hmm.
Of course I do, have conversations with them, or, try to get them help. Absolutely. But many times from my own experience, they're not ready. They're not open. They're not there. And, you can leave it at, when you're ready, I'll be here to help you. But then you have to learn, you don't have to be like, you're going to be out of my life, like I said, but you have to learn to detach from their journey. You really, really do. Otherwise, it makes you unhealthy. But
Yeah.
I do have to, I want to get into one other thing, but you've had people in your life like that too, though. So I want to give you a chance to speak on that. Yeah. Do you have any other tips, or feel like?
A big, huge tip I have for empaths, for healers, for people who read, and anyone in general, is when you are dealing with somebody who's going through, like you say, an addiction, drugs, alcohol, or just like a total Debbie Downer, and as a sensitive person, an empath, you feel that other person, you can acknowledge that, you feel it and realize, oh, that's not mine. Mm-hmm. When you feel that negativity from the other person, you realize that's not my stuff. That's theirs. So you have that separation. That is a beautiful way to detach. And then, so for me, like when I'm reading someone, I can read, feel all of their energy. So I realize, oh, I know that's not mine. I'm feeling it. I'm delivering the message to them, but it's gone from me. I don't hold on to it at all. Right. I don't hold on to it. So I want to share that huge tip with everyone, is realizing when you're feeling someone else's negativity, realize it's not yours to keep.
Well, yeah, but that then comes into but I have such a big heart and I love them and I don't want to see them sick or unhappy or hurt. But you being sick and unhappy and hurt doesn't fix their
right.
Hurt. It just makes it now double fold.
Yeah.
And now it potentially rolls over to your family. So I think that once people kind of really get that, I have had people in my life like this. It's not an easy thing to watch them make really not so awesome choices, but I've accepted the fact that they're their choices. And, I'm there if they need me, but I really do detach myself from their choices because I have no other choice. I can't affect their choices.
Right.
So, I've learned that it doesn't make it easy. Absolutely. I just want people to reiterate. I know it's not easy. I've done it, but it's just necessary. It's not easy. It's necessary.
Yeah.
But my beef was social media, and I know, but it came up today, and
it did.
Here's my problem with it, though. So many people waste, like, I am like, how did you literally waste 2 hours on social media? How are you guys not engaging like at a restaurant? Like, we go to the restaurants and people all around us are like all on phones.
Yeah.
Have you seen, like, this blows my mind. They'll be on like 2 people on a date, or what looks like a date.
They're going, this date sucks.
Like, are you texting each other? Are you just dating too long at this point? I really don't get it. And every time when I walk by people, it is usually Facebook. It could be other things. But it's an addiction now. And I feel my biggest beef with it is I feel like it's really contributing to unproductivity. So when people are coming to me and they're struggling with finding their life path and their life journey, or they're trying to raise their vibration, or they're trying to, just maybe do untraditional work. Maybe they're being drawn towards something like healing work, or they want to get out of the corporate world and that's not working for them. I do know personally in my life, but I also see when I'm doing readings, is I know that they spend a lot of time on social media. And I feel like these are so many hours of things that you could be creating a business. You could be, creating something in your life, I guess I would say. So I feel like it's an addictive distraction. that keeps people from raising their vibration, and it keeps them from truly being who they are, I guess I would say. Does that make sense? But that's my biggest beef with it.
It does. It does from my perspective. It does. Again, when this came up in the show, I see the positive aspects of social media. If people can affect change on social media. There is a lot of positive people, groups on social media. So, you know, there's good and bad on there. Yes, we are addicted to our phones. I think I am too.
No, I am I'm on my email all the time, but I have like 5 emails I have to check. I agree with that.
For me,
business related, yeah.
We do, and so because I read for people all over the world, so thank God for technology. You know,
I love technology. Don't get me wrong.
Thank God for
awesome.
this.
Yeah.
Yes, you do have to limit yourself. If people are feeling drained, especially when you're reading other people's lives, like, oh, they're on a cruise, you know, in Greece, or they've done this and they've done that. People start to feel negative feelings toward themselves when they are viewing someone else's lives. And so that's, you know, a negative aspect there. Of course, there's people spewing negativity online as well. But you can filter. Facebook has filters. You can filter that. You can, without unfriending someone, you can unfollow them, which I have done to several people. Unfollow them because we don't have the same interests and views, and so I unfollow them. And
well, I love engaging with my groups.
Yes.
Yes. I am on social media. I am engaging on my groups where I'm teaching and putting up tips. And when people comment, I actually do very much enjoy that. And people are all over the world. I think that there are good aspects, but what I'm not getting across very well is I feel, and I've noticed in readings, and I've noticed with people who surround me, that it's a time suck. And I feel like it's a distraction for people who are not really happy where they're at, because I feel like people who are happy where they're on social media like not as long. Do you know what I mean? They're not. Their posts are. They're probably on half hour a day, whatever. You know, they're on minimal times, or they can put it down during dinners or whatever. So I think that for those people, they manage it better. It's kind of like, now that I think about it, it's kind of like managing your abilities. You know, you have to limit your time, and you have to be aware of what you have in your news feeds. But I guess I just have a pet peeve of seeing people, and maybe if there wasn't social media, they'd do it anyways, but just not pursuing gifts and dreams because they get sidetracked or distracted. You know what I mean?
I do. And I do know that there are also people suffer from ADD.
Yeah.
And so they get distracted easily. So if you are that type of person, which I also get very distracted easily, you have to limit yourself. You have to have self-discipline.
Yeah.
And in going all the way back to the purpose of this particular show was empaths and how to deal with negativity. Mm-hmm. So online now, because it's such a huge part of our world right now, social media, there's so much positiveness out there to limit that negativity.
But that's the stuff that gets pushed under the rug. The positivity with the media, you know.
Not if you're following me.
Yeah, not if you're following you.
Or Jen.
Actually, it doesn't sell as well. I mean, it just doesn't. It doesn't get as much clicks, like, because people are afraid. They get the negativity is based on fear, and so I think that is so truthful that that's how people make choices that they make in their life. That's why people worry. That's why people stress. That's why they don't take chances doing things that they like, pursuing their dreams. They're fearful. They have this thing where they're like, what if I don't make it? What if I can't pay the bills? What if that happens to me? What if I'm traveling and that happens? What if, is the world coming to an end? Like, is everything just getting crazy? Is everything getting worse? Like, there's always something that you could fear.
Yes.
I think that people get, it's sad that we become fearful people and then our choices become based on fear. I see that a lot. I just see that a lot. That's something. Yeah. If I could change anything about clients or people in my life, is stop being so fearful of making that choice that you're feeling intuitively drawn to. So
right.
Whatever, stop blocking movement towards something that you're feeling and aligned with, because you are afraid.
Mm-hmm.
You're afraid of, well, what if XYZ? And so you have this longing because you have an alignment with it or an intuitive draw towards it. And I think that affects a lot of people's alignment spiritually, and their development with their spiritual senses. I think fear, not of the senses themselves, but following, learning how to be in alignment with using that as choice making in your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so I have learned personally how to turn that fear into fuel, to turn that around, because, like, oh my gosh, if the world is ending, I better get my stuff out there.
That's awesome.
That's how I do it.
If everything's going to hell, you better
have something to say.
We better make sure we do it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And on that note, I know that you have to go do a clearing.
I do. I have a house clearing and a reading to go do. And
get that stuff done before the world ends.
The world ends.
That is awesome. That is going to stick with me.
Oh,
such a blessing. I love hanging out with you.
Oh, likewise. This is so fun. And time goes so fast all the time.
I need to have people, I'm sure, were watching me check my watch, because I know you have to be out, and I'm like, oh gosh, we have to.
Yeah,
that's the problem. We'll just go another hour.
I know.
It was fun. I think that hopefully people enjoyed it. Apparently we just can't stay on track on the after show, but this is who we really are, I guess.
It just flows. We go like this. But I think I'm pretty sure it's helpful. If not, you've had a great laugh.
If not, it's got to be at least a little entertaining. All right. So go do something that you want to do before the world ends. We'll see you next week. Have the most amazing day. All right.
Thanks, everyone. Take care. Bye.